Not feeling great again. Um, but I am gonna make a quick salad, mostly because I have the stuff and I need to use it before it goes bad. This is a salad that I don't know where the heck I got this from, but I do remember that my family loves it. My dad loves it. And so this is flat leaf parsley, and I throw in cucumbers. The actual recipe doesn't call for cucumbers, but I have cucumbers. I'm throwing some sweet peppers because I have sweet peppers. I won't do tomatoes. Tomatoes get a little mushy, a little watery, and the sweetness is actually going to come from pomegranate, which I'm going to peel this in a second and show you a hack that I saw online that works for me in terms of peeling. And then I'm trying to resuscitate this dino kale because I used to have this big airtight container that kept all my produce like super fresh, and it didn't make the move, and I've yet to find something that works as well. My crisper joy doesn't. So I also have farro, half a cup of farro, which should make about a cup of farro on the stove. So that's being cooked right now. It's a little early in the season, I think, for pomegranates. So I don't know how sweet versus tart versus just watery this is gonna be, but we shall find out. What I am doing is cutting, you can see I cut a little square off the top there, and now I am pulling, ooh, you can't really see, pulling that out, and then I'm going to score it down. If you look inside of a pomegranate, there are usually like natural lines, like you can see right here there's like a line going, so I'm going to score it down there and where all the lines are, and then I will show you some more. When you score this, you don't want to cut too deep, otherwise you're going to end up with pomegranate juice everywhere, and pomegranate juice stains. I don't know if you've ever had that. You wouldn't think so. It's like, oh, what a beautiful little jewel. It will stain whatever it is you're wearing. So yeah, so once you do that, really you should be able to, I'm not sure I scored this well enough. Yeah, there you go. So like that lets me crack this open. Yeah, these are a little pale, but we're gonna work with it. And then you are gonna peel a pomegranate. You don't want to, again, press too hard, because if you do, then you get pomegranate juice everywhere, and that's not what you're looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish pulling these little jewels out. I'm putting it in a separate bowl because one of the things I'm gonna do once I resuscitate that kale a little bit more is I'm gonna cut it and then I'm gonna massage it to kind of reduce some of the bitterness that comes with raw kale. It also gives it a beautiful bright green color, which you'll be able to see the difference because I will show you. Two more quick things. One, if you have like dark ones like this, I don't include those. Clearly I'm gonna take those out. And then the other piece is sometimes you'll get like little pieces of pith, so like this like casing right here in there, it's super bitter, so where you see it you want to go ahead and pull it out, otherwise you're going to taste bitterness when you take a bite. So voila. So these are a little more pink ice, as my grandmother used to, was into jewelry, and that was the thing she loved right before she died, versus the ruby like red that I love. I threw in a little bit of sweet peppers because I have them, some cucumber, like I said, that's flat leaf parsley. I'm gonna cut up that kale in a minute, and I finished this farro. I'm letting it cool because otherwise it's just gonna like heat up and wilt everything inside. So now that is cooling. All I did was do that with some water, 2 to 1, so 2 to 1 ratio, and a little bit of salt, and I put a lid on it. Don't forget about it because it will stick. If it sticks, you want to like either, if it's just starting to stick, you can put a little bit of water in it and let it steam, like put the top back on, which is what I just did because I caught it just in the nick of time. Otherwise, you want to like dump out and leave whatever stuck to the bottom because it's burnt, and you don't want the burnt flavor. This recipe calls for almonds, but these are some leftover hazelnuts that I roasted the other night. I am falling in love with hazelnuts. They also, to my understanding, have a little less of an imprint on the earth because, almonds, a lot of water. Almonds are hard on California. So trying to see what I can do with hazelnuts. And so that's going to take a little trial and error. This dressing, I've never actually made it the way that it's supposed to. You're supposed to make it with allspice. And I was against allspice on all things until I got into more Mediterranean cooking. And there's a lot that'll have like cumin and cardamom and allspice, and like all of those things melt together with some cinnamon, and it's like all delicious. But this still seems weird to me. And maybe one day I'll make this the proper way and see, maybe it's delicious, but that's not what I do. So normally what I dress this with is lemon, olive oil, some minced garlic, a little bit of salt. Mix that all together until it's emulsified and put it on top. So I'm gonna stick with that because that's what I usually do. This recipe calls for ribbing your kale. And in recent years, I don't really rib my kale. So ribbing would mean like taking this big piece out, and you can usually just pull it all the way down and it'll pull down, and then just use the leaves. But this is good fiber, and it's also just like wasteful. It's a whole piece. So is it a little more bitter? Yes. But I've taken in recent years to, unless there's a specific reason for like texture purposes for like some kind of sauce or something, that I just go ahead and use it. Or if I do rib it, I'll use it in something else later on. So like saute it up with other vegetables or what have you. So I'm going to continue to chop it so you can see what I'm doing down here. Chopping it really thin, and then I'm going to show you how I massage it. Okay, so this recipe calls for you massaging the kale. You can see like the color starts to change a little bit. It's like a much darker green. What they say is that this helps to reduce some of the bitterness in it. It's also just like texturally, like I call it like basically bruising, I guess. And so kale by definition can be hearty and a little tough, and this kind of helps with that process. So I have now like got a nice deep green, and this is why I haven't added it to everything else yet, because I didn't need to massage everything. But I'm gonna incorporate all of this into one bowl and then get to dressing and having dinner. One of the other things I love about hazelnuts is once you roast them, they're infinitely like smashable. They're kind of delicate. So I should probably have more. Actually, I know I should have more, but I'm lazy and don't want to roast any more right now. I'm tired. So I am, I've done dressing. Like I said, this is half a lemon and like a little bit more than the same amount of olive oil. I minced a small clove of garlic and threw in some salt, and then it's like, you know, whisk it till it's emulsified. I'm letting it sit a little bit so that the flavors can marry with the garlic, and then I will dress this salad. And I won't include the hazelnuts like all in it because I'm probably not going to eat this whole salad. It's a huge salad. And so they'll lose their crunch overnight. And so I can just make some more hazelnuts in the morning or in the evening, whatever I'm eating these again. Finished product. There we have it. Salad's been dressed. You can see little bits of farro, my hazelnuts on top, and this will be my dinner tonight. Might need a little more salt. Let's see. No. Good balance. I love the hazelnuts on here actually more than oh my gosh. Hazelnuts are my new jam. Definitely my new jam. So this is delightful. I hope you're eating something delightful too.